To me, Age of Empires has been the gold standard for real-time strategy games for quite a few decades now, building up your civilization, gathering resources, marching through the ages until you're raining down cannons on people who are still swinging swords. But what if you've already played it a couple of 100 times already and you're after something else, something a little bit different, or honestly just more of that same feeling? Well, there's a whole world of RTS games out there, old school classics, weird little indie passion projects, all of which scratch that same itch. Hey everyone, it's Marco here, and today I'll be giving you 20 great games like Age of Empires that you need to check out. And so coming in hot is Age of Mythology Retold. Honestly, you could just start with this game and just forget about the rest of this list. Like, for those of you who are new to real-time strategy, this one is for you, and it's also one of the easiest to get into, especially with that campaign. The Retold edition comes with better graphics, more quality of life features, more content, and just a whole bunch of other improvements. It's also a title that has quite an active player base if you're into the multiplayer side of things. And let's be honest, it's very similar in terms of looks to Age of Empires, which is expected as it's from the same creators, but also plays very differently too, where it comes with these various gods, monsters, and humans colliding into these crazy battles. It's got Greek, Norse, Egyptian, Atlantean, and even Chinese mythology if you get the premium edition, but all of them play just so cool. And if you want to play one of the classics, Rise of Nations Extended Edition is just one you have to check out. It's such an incredible titan of a title, and I found myself asking, is it still worth playing today though? It's a bit old, but the answer is yes, or hell yeah. It's still very popular, it's still being played, and can be considered a national treasure of the genre. Think of it as Age of Empires with nukes. Yeah. Starting off with your slingshots and swords and improving until you get those epic missiles and stealth bombers. With its full historical timeline, a variety of customizable features including battle options, map size, tech tree, and winning methods, there is just so much you can do in this game. So if you are wanting an awesome nostalgic skirmish with some friends, then Rise of Nations still has so much to offer even today if you're a fan of the RTS genre. Now, for all of my Warcraft fans out there, this one is for you. It's the Scouring. It's got both Age of Empires and Warcraft blood, with some saying it's what Warcraft 4 would have been. It's got the typical base building, resource management, and army development as seen in many Age of Empires-like games, but it also has the magic element, which gives it more of that Warcrafty vibe. But it has its own unique modern elements too, and sometimes the night raids of the undead can be unexpected, but also pretty brutal. It's super fun, it's very high paced, and it can be a bit overwhelming at times. There are different modes to choose from though, like you've got the classic one where you can just play as humans or orcs, or you can just fight for dominance. It also supports multiplayer for up to 8 players, and it's still in early access, but it's looking still very good so far. It just needs a bit of polish in some places. It comes with mod support, so you can create your own maps or custom game modes, and that just adds a little something to the game. I recommend it, I played it, I had a lot of fun with it, so maybe go check it out if this looks good to you. Then coming up next is another one for fans of Warcraft. It's just got its own twist. It's called Godsworn. It's based on that classic real-time strategy, but with a fantasy take on the Baltic Crusade, which is pretty cool. It's inspired by pagan mythology and comes with a range of mythical creatures that add to that uniqueness. You can play solo or co-op with an emphasis on choosing between like 8 divine heroes, and they all have their own different upgrades. And these heroes change how each faction will play. There's also a fully voiced story campaign here, and even though it's still in early access, it's sitting with very positive reviews right now on Steam. So yeah, it's definitely worth digging into if you want some mythology and some gods getting involved in your RTS gameplay. Then something I love about the real-time strategy genre is that there are these hybrids that are starting to emerge, where maybe you're just a fan of building your own base and you want to defend it. Well, these are for you. And I cannot have this list without throwing in diplomacy is not an option, because man, it is so much fun. You play as this lord who just wants to live out a quiet life, but this multi-level campaign says that's not going to happen, and it feels very much like Age of Empires. You'll be doing things like gathering resources, building up defenses, building different units, and all of a sudden all of these people or these units start attacking you, and it gets very brutal very quickly. There's also a lot of humor in the game. I often find myself having a little chuckle with how the story goes along and the different things the Lord is saying. But to me, if you want some intense gameplay where you cannot stay still for a second, this game has it all. I'm a fan of the graphics. They handle the game very well. It runs very smoothly, especially when there's just hundreds and thousands of units coming towards you at any given second. It's very, very cool. Like, if you were a fan of Age of Empires, but just the turtling where you're just building up a massive base and a huge army, but you never have the willpower to go off to the enemy's side, well, this is a game not worth missing. Now, speaking of base defense, and if you want something a bit more realistic, what about the Stronghold franchise, specifically Crusader, as well as the upcoming Stronghold 4? Now, this Crusader Definitive Edition is incredible. It deals with more of the castle building and siege economy rather than just going off across the map like you would in Age of Empires. It also comes with co-op support and bigger maps than the original, so yeah, if you're looking for this kind of castle defense and setting up all your defenses like this, it is incredible. But here's where it gets interesting though, is that Firefly, the studio, they're bringing out Stronghold 4. So maybe when you're watching this video, that game might be already out, and it's slightly different to Crusader. Instead of another skirmished focused expansion, this is a full narrative prequel set years before the original Stronghold, where you'll be following a shepherd as he's forced to become the leader he's never expected to be. So where Crusader is all about desert sieges and fast skirmished matches, Stronghold 4 is leaning harder into the cinematic story missions alongside the usual castle building. So whichever one you choose, whether you just want to go with the Stronghold Definitive Edition, Crusader, or maybe Stronghold 4, this is almost like Age of Empires. It's just more focused on your castle building and setting that all up. And then up next, it's time for some more pure childhood nostalgia. It's a remastered classic. It's Battlegrounds Zen Edition. It's a bit different from the run-of-the-mill standard RTS games, as it's fantasy-based and inspired by martial arts fiction, film, and mythology. You'll be training your peasants and turning them into a lethal clan of fighters, cannoneers, and mages. There's also this epic story-driven campaign. It's got huge and highly customizable PvP skirmish maps, as well as multiplayer that supports up to 8 players. There's just so much you can do in the game though. It has somewhat of the Warcraft vibe to it, and the villager training and resources gathering mechanics are quite unique compared to other titles in the genre. And even though it's remastered, it's still got some old looking graphics. It can be a bit clanky at times with some glitches here and there, but overall, still so much fun and still worth it today. Now, if you're looking for a fresh title, what about Sanctuary Shattered Sun, which is today's sponsor? It's set about 500 years in the future, where you've got these big brain thinkers that are like, let's build a big Dyson sphere and call it Sanctuary, coming with all the shattered terrain and freezing oceans. It reminds me a lot of Total Annihilation, Supreme Commander, or Beyond All Reason, where you've got a commander to control, and if that goes down, you lose the game. There's tons to do though, like upgrading your factories, positioning your units, and just trying to take over the map with whatever strategy works for you. And because it's coming with 3 unique factions, that means many different ways to play the game. It looks great, it sounds incredible, and to be honest, it ran pretty smoothly on my laptop, even in this early build. The demo is out now. I highly recommend you check it out. It's a lot of fun and shows off quite a bit of potential. Just keep in mind it's in pre-alpha and is due for release in August next year. However, if you back their Kickstarter, you'll get beta access, giving you multiplayer access right now. So check it out using the link below if you're longing for this type of intense RTS gameplay. And then for another title I could not leave off this list, it's Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, the Definitive Edition. This is Relic Entertainment going back and properly remastering their own 2004 classic, and it's no just mishmash half job either. You're getting all 4 campaigns bundled in, plus all 9 factions, over 100 maps. It's incredible. Now compared to AoE, this actually keeps a lot of what you'd recognize. You'll still be gathering resources, building up a base, and producing units out of structures before pushing them across the map. But the difference here is the combat itself. Instead of massing huge individual unit armies, here you commanding squads, and morale matters a lot here. Like if you hit a squad with enough firepower, you'll break and scatter them instead of just standing there dying. The cover matters a lot. Terrain actually makes a big deal as well. It's incredible. So many people are actually playing it even today. Even if you're not a fan of Warhammer, it's definitely a great RTS to get into. And then for a title not many know about, it's War Selection. Similar to games like Empire Earth, where you start out in the Stone Age and then climb your way up through 8 different eras all the way to modern times. It's also free to play, but still in early access, so there are some glitches here and there. You get to pick a culture and a country, which shapes how you play, and then it's base building, resource extraction, and warfare on land and sea, coming with many different units and buildings to choose from. Honestly, it's a crazy amount of content for a free game. Also, the multiplayer scale on this thing is pretty wild. It comes with this Armageddon mode where up to 62 players can throw down on one map. It's wild. There's also an optional subscription if you want private matches and some extra tech, but the core game is just completely free to jump into. So it's a kind of game where if you're just wanting to have some fun, you want that Age of Empires gameplay, but now want to go into modern industrial nations, this is maybe one to check out. And then up next is another RTS classic and juggernaut of its time. It's Empire Earth Gold Edition. And if you're an AoE fan, you can't miss out this one, as one of the lead designers of Age of Empires, Rick Goodman, was also behind this one too. You can play it on Steam, which the community is pretty chuffed about. It remains an AoE-like game, but it has its unique twists and just so much customization, and no playthrough will feel the same. Like in Age of Empires, you will progress through various ages, except in this game you go from clubs to lasers. Yep, I said it, lasers. The space age can be a bit confusing, but overall the game still holds up. And with 21 different nations to choose from and battles spanning over different periods from ancient Greece to World War II, the choices are insane. It's also the inspiration for the upcoming Imperial Eternal, which also looks epic. And then for all of my Star Wars fans out there, what about this RTS classic? It's Galactic Battlegrounds. It's very similar to Age of Empires. It's probably because it's using the same engine, but yeah, it's got that sci-fi twist to it, but all the Age of Empires familiarity, so it's super nostalgic, very comforting. The game is based on Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones Saga, where you'll be engaging in a massive and extensive intergalactic civil war. Here you get to play as the Empire, the Rebels, the Wookiees, the Trade Federation, or maybe the Royal Naboo. So with all of these much loved factions, you can also play movie related campaigns or maybe just create your own map. It's got your classic AI skirmishes as well as multiplayer support. There's also some cool mods to choose from, like the Expanded Front that gives you widescreen support, more Star Wars maps, factions, sounds, units, ships, music, and more. It's very epic, and overall it's still so much fun to play even today. And then for another classic title, it's Cossacks 3. This is another one of those old school favorites that definitely needs more attention. It's very similar to Age of Empires, but with some subtle differences, like it doesn't come with a population cap, but it does come with that standard RTS fix, like you'll be gathering resources by chopping wood, mining, and farming, all while you'll be building up that army to engage in a number of different options. You can play one of the campaigns, which are both incredible and based on historical events from the 17th and 18th century. From liberating Turin from one of those tyrannical Frenchmen to taking on British rebels in the Battle of Edgefield. Or you can choose from 20 different nations and just do that RTS thing on land or sea and take on some of that enemy AI. There's also multiplayer, which is still very much alive today, which is surprising, but overall the game still runs okay, and don't expect it to be perfect with no issues all the way through. It's not bad, but personally I think it's still super fun and enjoyable and still a contender in the genre. And then following that is a name almost every real-time strategy fan already knows. It's the Company of Heroes franchise. Personally, this is just one of my all-time favorites. I love it. I started with the first one and I just could not get enough. Honestly, if you're looking for a World War II RTS, to me, I think this is the best. The original is incredible, the second still very, very good, the third, it still needs a bit of work here and there. But in each of them, there's just so much action, so much strategy, and so much intensity. Like the first time you see a tiger tank coming for you, and you're like, well, my army days are over now. Just bear in mind it plays a bit different to other RTS titles though. The games make use of squads, so losing a unit means that you can reinforce them, and you just want to keep everyone alive for as long as possible. When you get that veterancy, they're unstoppable. The cover system is great too. Everything is just very intimate, like having your sniper wait patiently in a building while he picks off unsuspecting units as they cruise on by. And guess what? The studio Relic just announced a Company of Heroes Definitive Edition of the original 2006 game, coming sometime in fall of 2026. I actually replayed the original with my fiance a few months back, and just the sounds alone just gave me goosebumps. Now, if you're looking for an RTS that is completely free, what about Zero AD? It's fully open source, there's no premium nonsense, there's no ads, you'll just be able to download it and play straight away. The premise alone is just a fun hook, like it's built around the question of who would win if all the great ancient civilizations were pitted against each other at the exact peak of their power. So you'll get factions like Athens, Sparta, Macedonia, Britannia, Gaul, Carthage, Persia, Republican Rome, India, Egypt, so much more. It's all set between 500 BC and 500 AD. Every single civilization comes with its own unique art, technology, and bonuses, where you'll be gathering resources, raising your armies, and just going to dominate that ancient world. Then another classic for my sci-fi fans out there, it's the Homeworld Remastered Collection. This is an epic recreation of the original games with so much attention to detail, it is crazy. It comes with a single-player RTS where you can experience epic Starfleet battles similar to those in Star Wars. It's very important to balance your resources though, as it can take some time to wait for what you need. There's also a lot of strategy here, and if you don't have one, you'll be in a tad bit of trouble. It's got some great mods, and there's just so much depth to the story and the mechanics. The multiplayer is great too, but yeah, honestly, if you're looking for a space real-time strategy game, the Homeworld Collection is not to be missed. And also, I need to add that Homeworld Emergence on GOG is also very great too. And then up next, we have another remastered classic that everyone is so happy about. It's Command & Conquer. It's definitely one of the OGs of the genre, and this remaster still holds up. The devs did a great job with 3 expansions and a remastering of the UI, the multiplayer, the visuals, the audio, the map editor, the music, just so much. It still gives you that same epic nostalgic feeling though of the 90s with that RTS gameplay we all cherish and love. However, it's a lot easier to look at now and runs very smoothly on modern PCs. You can also switch between new and old art, which is a very cool feature. Plus, with the updated visuals, you can easily differentiate between the units, which was a bit of a challenge in the original title. You've still got that same game with the resource gathering and management, base building and army building, and just general ass kicking. It's got mod support, skirmish mode, campaigns, and multiplayer, and sure, there are a few things that the fans aren't happy about here and there, but in general, it still has so much fun and definitely worth it. And for those of you looking for the return of Command & Conquer, look no further, because up next is Tempest Rising. After a massive World War III nuclear war, the scorched earth gives rise to a new enemy. And now it's your job to take them down as you take on the role of a commander of the global defense force. This is a game that'll give you that classic formula of fast-paced base building and action, resource gathering, and crazy faction design, bringing back the thrill of old school Command & Conquer gameplay. Visually though, the game looks amazing. It's quite possibly one of the best looking real-time strategy games. It's still got an active player base, and even though it looks like a clone of Command & Conquer, it does things differently to help it stand out. And speaking of games that truly stand out, what about StarCraft 2, which might just be the best RTS of all time? But I'll let you decide that in the comments section, whether you agree or not. But come on, let's be honest, this game is amazing. Honestly, to me though, I struggle with the gameplay. It's so intense, it's so fast paced, but to many, it's just, it cannot be beaten. You'll be trying to create this powerful army to take down your enemy, and the visuals and the gameplay is so fluid though. It almost feels like water while you're playing it. I gotta say though, if you felt that Age of Empires pacing was too slow for you, well then this is the one to go for. It moves fast, and it gets even faster once you get into ranked play. It comes with 3 completely different factions, the Terran, the Zerg, and the Protoss, which all have different mechanics and identities. And the best part is, well, it's been free to play since 2017. The full Wings of Liberty campaign, all the multiplayer, every co-op commander, completely free. Sure, if you want the other 2 campaigns, Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void, well, you gotta pay for those. This is the RTS that defined competitive esports for over a decade, and it's the reason why the skill ceiling is still ridiculously high even today. Again, is another one of my personal favorites. It's beyond all reason. Yes, I put it in so many of my lists, but it's free, it's got a great community, and it is so much fun to play. Why so much fun? Because there's just so much chaos going on all the time. Very similar to Age of Empires, like you fighting for these resource nodes around the map. So it makes it just such a faster game. Like just by the end, there's just nukes and anti-nukes just flying all over the place. Just a word of caution, it can feel a bit overwhelming for beginner players, but don't worry, just join a community. Hell, message me, I'll play with you. That being said, playing it with a bunch of friends over the weekend is just so much fun, and honestly, for a free title, it's incredible. And then last but not least, this list would not be complete without a game of Warcraft. The third one, the Reforged edition, is the one Blizzard's actually still supporting. They're still pushing out balance patches, so this isn't some abandoned relic. You've got that classic gold and lumber economy here, peasants and peons chopping down wood, there'll be mining, it's got base building, there's the tech tree, all very familiar if you've ever played Age of Empires. But what really sets this game apart though is the hero units. Leveling up, inventory items, unique abilities, and honestly this one mechanic changed gaming forever. The races are very cool. You've got humans, orcs, the undead, the night elves. They all play completely differently. And sure, Reforged had a rough start, but you know what? It's in a much better place right now. But that wraps up my video. Which games did I leave out? Let me know in the comments section below. And a huge shout out to my channel members. You guys always mean so much to me. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games. And as always, don't stop gaming.